I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. Stuck on, stuck on you. Stuck on, I'm stuck on you. Stuck on, stuck on, stuck on, I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on I'm stuck on I'm stuck on
Alrighty, morning guys, or evening, sorry. So I am Ted. I'm from Blade Outlaws. I've been doing videos for like 6 or 7 years alone for the longest time, and I just thought that I would add another person to my view or my YouTube channel to help create content for flying and everything. He's also a local friend of mine. He's into RC stuff and everything else. So we're gonna add him to the live stream here and talk with him. So here he is.
What's up?
Hey, so I guess I just wanted to start off by like just introducing you. So this is Seth. Seth, where do you come from exactly? Like what experience do you have to bring to this?
Well, from you actually, I got back in the RC hobby from when I was 8 years old, and I came into the hobby shop one day, and you sold me an RC car, got into racing, all that fun stuff, and then my collection kind of grew, which is like back there, but
Yeah,
it's kind of getting there. But I kind of want to get into flying. Like I had a mini drone, but that was about it.
yeah. So and like and those that don't work, no, I used to work at Hobbytown and help run the store over there. And Seth came in and I sold him a carpet or
Fortec.
Traxxas Fortec, and we got into that for like carpet racing, and then you could bash it. It was kind of the best of both worlds kind of car.
Right, and then I grew from that to an actual X-ray something.
Yep. So that was fun. So you have RC experience and everything, which is cool to bring to this, but drone stuff is definitely like way different. You're controlling 4 things at once versus 2 and everything else. A lot of other drone pilots are actually switching to RC stuff, and they're making like RC FPV cars and stuff like that. That's one of the interesting things. So it's cool to see someone come from the RC world and up to the FPV drone stuff. You had a drone at one point, right? Not just like a toy grade one. You actually had like an FPV quad.
I had a what was it? The Blade something. It was like one Blade beginner get into.
The Blade Inductrix, right?
I think
was that the one that you could hover on the ground and stuff? It didn't even have a camera on it, or are you talking about?
No, it was one that you convinced me to. I don't remember what it's called.
An Emax.
Emax,
right? That was the white one.
Yeah, not
Emax
the Blade.
Easy Pilot, like one of the second gen ones, I think.
Yep. And then other drone experience I have is the DJI stuff. So just photography, videography, shit like that.
Yeah, we call those potato drones, but that's because like people that like get into FPV and all that stuff, like they realize like how hard it is to actually fly a drone. And those DJIs, like you can go, any dude can just go buy one at Walmart or buy one at Best Buy and go fly it.
Right.
Thing flies itself. Drones that you build are just way different. Like FPV drones are way different, way harder to fly. So I guess when you had that other Emacs, like you practice with it and everything for those, did you just like give up on it, or just?
It was more like I crashed it so many times and I just kind of gave up on it because I got further into my RC shit that I just wanted to put more money into it. And like right now I'm high speed cars and I was into drift cars, but drift cars kind of went away and now I'm still got my high speed cars.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and that's one of the things too. I just wanted to see, because like a lot of people will start this hobby and give up on it for a lot of reasons. I would say a good main part of it would be it gets pretty hard to like maintenance and work on, and then on top of it, it's hard to fly, and that can be kind of, you know, when you have those two things where it's like you go and crash your drone and it takes 40 minutes to fix it and you're first getting into it, like it just gets super frustrating.
Right.
But I mean, if you stick with it, then you learn a lot. And there's a lot of good YouTube videos and stuff like that out there to like help you get to know like your drone a little bit better. Joshua Bartle does a lot of good videos. So that's a good, you know, at least there's like an online presence of help for it.
Right.
So what we plan on doing, since like we still have to work on your flying a little bit, right? I haven't even seen you fly. Last time I saw you fly was when we were in the store and you were flying some kind of drone around, but it didn't have a camera on it. I forgot what it was.
I think it was the mini blade I bought for like $50.
Yeah. You bought a used one from there. That's what it was.
Well, it was like that hovercraft one that can go into a quad, but we converted it to an actual just quad.
Yeah. That was a Blade Inductrix. I forgot what it was. It was like, I forgot the side name of it, but it was basically a Blade Inductrix.
Yeah, that thing's long gone.
And I started off with one of those, not as my first drone. My first drone was a Parrot AR drone 2.0, and I got that. I actually looked at my video that was on my mom's YouTube channel, and I posted a video of it 11 years ago. Damn. And that was like an old Wi-Fi drone that was like pretty big. Mm-hmm. It had a barometer on it. You could buy an external GPS for it. It was pretty crude, but like cool for its time.
Right.
And I lost one of them in a cornfield once, and the battery just kind of died on me. And then I bought a second one. I forgot what the heck happened to it. My dad bought another one too for himself, and we were flying them all the time. But we used to they'd had work through Wi-Fi, you know, and so the range was just 200 feet or less. And so we would buy Wi-Fi range extenders, like those Netgear range extenders.
Yeah.
And bind it to it and then fly it 400 feet. And it's like, oh, wow, I can actually make the end of the park this time. And, you know, you look at the drones nowadays and it's like, oh, yeah, you can fly 4 miles out, which.
Well,
you know,
right.
Yeah. But like legally, you're not supposed to do that for anything like that. And that's just common knowledge. But it's just crazy the range and the technology advancement from 11 years ago to now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want to get into it now too.
Yeah,
because I'm seeing it advance more, and just all the stuff I see people do is like, whoa, I want to do that.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, the content that people are putting out nowadays for FPV videos, it's so competitive. But
oh yeah,
in all, like I've always had the YouTube channel as just, you know, for fun and like memorabilia. Like I'll record an event where I fly at a family outing or whatever, and it's like it's cool to do that and make memories with it. But also it's fun to do,
right?
Even if no one watches it. So I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna set you up with I think it's the Beta FPV Cetus. That's how you pronounce it, right? Cetus Pro.
I think so.
So I have it right here. So this is one I picked up on our trip in Florida at Race Day Quads. We stopped down there, and we actually stopped down at Rotor Riot as well, which was really cool. But this drone was pretty cool. It's, I believe, like a 75 or 85 millimeter tiny whoop. So ducted fan, kind of like your Emacs one that you had, but it flies
Right.
better than that.
Well,
By a
100%.
Has a lot
I
more
think that
power.
one's a little bigger too,
Maybe a little bit. I think the
but not
Emax
too.
Easy Pilot was still a 75, but the motors were smaller on it than
Oh yeah,
this.
because those were the brushed motors, and the one I got.
You got you had an Emax Easy Pilot. It wasn't the Tiny Hawk, or it was an Emax Easy Pilot. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
no, that might have been a 65 millimeter drone then. So yeah, this is gonna be like a Ferrari compared to that thing, and it's still not the best out there. When you switch to this and you go from to the Baby Ape, that was the other thing that we're kind of talking about, was going
Right.
kind of doing a step. I have 14, 15 drones that are in working condition and a couple that aren't. And it's like, what I'm going to do is help Seth progress through the smaller drones and up to the bigger 5-inch. And, starting off with the Cetus, we're going to kind of do that. We're going to do some sim action. What sim did you end up getting?
I got Liftoff.
You got Liftoff? Yep.
Yeah.
And just like the basic version, right? I don't even like
Yeah, because it was like $17 on sale. So
yeah.
I could have got the more expensive version, but it looked like stuff I didn't really need. So
you can add stuff later on, I think. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't even done it, dude. My computer's like 20 years old, and like when I run Liftoff, the thing sounds like it's gonna explode. So
I recently
don't
just
even-
built mine. So
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I gotta upgrade it. This thing, I just upgraded the RAM on it and everything, but it's getting to the point where it's just maxed out.
Gotcha.
But but anyways, Liftoff is a good simulator. The kit that I'm going to loan you for a while here comes with a controller that will plug into the computer via USB. It's just like the Lightning connector,
Yep.
newer ones. Is it called Lightning or USB? What is it?
USB-C.
USB-C. Yeah, Lightning is iPhone stuff, right? So it plugs in through that. Actually, you don't even turn on the controller. That was one of the things that like torqued me off, because I was trying to set up Rachel on this, and I was trying to get her into the Tiny Whip, and we sat for like a solid 15 minutes trying to get it on and get it connected and everything. I'm like, why is the program not reading this?
It's because you
Turns
had
out
it turned on.
You have to turn it on. Yeah, and I was like, I turned it off out of anger, and it started working. I'm like, what the heck? So it was kind of funny, but which is, I guess, too, like, it's cool that like you get this kit. It comes with 2 batteries, a really fast charger. This charger is just a USB charger, but it also has a tester on the side of it. So these are the
Really?
451 cells, and
Yeah.
don't let the voltage fool you. In this drone, it does pretty well. So on the one side, it's a 2-port, dual charger. I think it does up to 2 amps, which is ridiculous because these things only need 0.4 amps. But you plug it into one side when it's not plugged into anything, and it actually shows the battery voltage on it. So if you're out in the field, it's like if you have 8 batteries and you're like, I don't know what battery's charging, you just check it really quick.
Right, that's
It works
cool.
out really good. Yeah. So the goggles are basic lunchbox goggles. I mean,
Right.
you get what you pay for, and this is like a starter kit. It doesn't even have an antenna on it. It's the first time I've ever seen a goggle that doesn't have an antenna. I mean, it's obviously on it. You just can't. It's not poking out of it like.
Right. I think the
crazy.
Emax even had the antennas poking out of it.
Yep, and like these are my HD DJI goggles with a
Mhm.
patch antenna, and then like the huge antenna. So this has 4 antennas technically.
Right.
And then like where is it? Everybody's gonna laugh when they see that this is what I fly with, but I fly with old fat Shark Dominators.
Right.
These things are like 7 years old. I actually have 2 of them. I bought one that was brand new, sealed in the box last year, just to keep as a backup. And I finally dug into it because my screen on my old one like started going, but it lasted so many years. I can't even believe how long it lasted. I think I have a True D or Rapid Fire module on it or something like that. So it has 2 antennas, patch antenna, and then these are mushroom antennas. So patch antennas, as you probably already know, even in the RC stuff, that you don't really see a lot of that. This is like a directional antenna. This is one thing that you always want to get, on your goggles if they have diversity on them, which is 2 different antennas or multiple different antennas. Patch antennas push your range out further, but it's directional. If you fly behind you, it switches over to the other antenna. But if you don't have another antenna, then you're SOL.
Right.
So that kind of leads us into the conversation of like HD and analog. Yep. So for me, I started, with that AR drone for one, but then I started off hot gluing these little analog cameras on top of those bladed ductress brush motor, little tiny whoop, kind of like these. This is the modern day tiny whoop that's brushless and everything else. Thing flies like almost like a 5-inch, and it's so small, and it's just impressive going from like that underpowered drone that you get a minute of battery life to something that you get like 3 to 4 minutes of battery life, and it rips balls.
Right.
But that was how I started, was analog all the time. You got used to looking through that crappy staticky video feed that cuts out all the time, and you have crappy range. If you fly behind something like concrete or trees, it cuts out really bad. But you get to know the drone so much that like you can see through the static. If you can, and you kind of look, that the static almost is like a tool as well, where you kind of know like, hey, I see my video breaking up in a certain way, and I know that my video is just going to all of a sudden drop out. Like you get an idea that, hey, I'm going too far, it's time to turn around. Or, hey, maybe I shouldn't keep diving through this gap, I'm going to lose video through it. Sometimes you're going too fast and you can't do anything about it. But to me, that's what like the biggest part of analog has as a tool. HD doesn't really have that. They have like really good video quality, and the screen doesn't really like glitch out or anything. And having that like clarity of stuff is really nice when you're like flying really fast and you're going through like trees and stuff, so you can see branches easier and everything. But when it cuts out, it freezes like a TV or a computer freezes.
Right.
And like when you're going 70 miles an hour with a racing quad or whatever, or 70 plus, it's like you don't have a second. You don't have a freeze. Or if it freezes, it's like, and you're in front of something, you're probably gonna hit it if you don't react. So, but when HD came out first, it was pretty bad, and the screen would like go black and everything. They've worked out the bugs with it for the most part, and they have some crazy range, but it's just not perfect. I'm still like, I love HD, like it looks good and it's fun flying that way, but I'm still an old school analog guy. So when you're getting into this, I would recommend starting off with analog. On top of that, the other part of it is super expensive with HD.
Oh yeah,
like,
I was looking into it.
Yeah, and like this is a Pavo Pico. So this drone is a beta FPV frame, motors, it's flight controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has a DJI video transmitter, and technically you can bind a remote to it as well. And then the DJI camera. So this camera does 4K. It has image stabilization, it has live video feed that's HD. You can broadcast the video feed. It has all this stuff. But the camera itself is $230 right now. And the Pavo Pico was $110, $120. And so you got a $400 almost setup in a drone that's 85 millimeters versus an analog drone with almost the same motors on it that you can go buy for $100.
Right.
So again, you get 4K video. There's the camera part of it is pretty cool, but goodness, it's too expensive. And then not only if you like crash it and break something on it, like this is the camera. If you break the lens or whatever, it's expensive to replace.
Oh yeah.
But I actually I was doing a video for, I guess you'd say it's Rachel's brother-in-law. He owns like an online store for like car parts and stuff like that, for Toyota stuff.
Gotcha.
And I was flying, and it was raining. Like this was last weekend. I think it was last weekend sometime. And it was raining, and like the drone is mostly waterproof. And I do this cool shot where I'm like flying up to the car and I try to go underneath it, and I hit muffler and just like go right into a puddle. And I'm like, oh, that's a $400 drone. And like go grab it really quick, unplug it. And it didn't look good. I think it was going to fry out. Took it home, took it apart, dried it out, scraped off corrosion on it, cleaned it up really well, and powered everything up, and it was working. And then I took conformal coating and put it all over the board on this thing to waterproof the drone.
Yeah.
And then the DJI unit is fairly waterproof in and of itself, so you don't have to do a lot.
Yeah.
But the board alone is like $60 for this drone. So I ordered another board just thinking that it wasn't going to work, and like put it all back together, and it's been working fine since. I put like 20 batteries through it. It's like, I don't know. So it was cool to like find out that, you know, this stuff, it's breakable, but it's not. It's like it can survive some abuse, especially getting wet and like fully on in a puddle. Oh man, I panicked when I saw that. But
yeah, I don't even feel comfortable taking my RC still out in the rain. It just terrifies me because especially receiver boxes aren't even that sealed. They're still, you get water in them all the time, and I can't tell you how many receivers I had to replace because of water damage. Like, even trying to save them, it's a 50-50 shot.
Yep. And so it's just, I mean, that's always going to be a thing. Conformal coating works really well, but it's not perfect, and you have to be careful where you put it. You can't technically put it on everything because actually, like if you put it where a gyro sensor is, it can mess up that. You can't really put it where plugs are, and it's hard to take off sometimes. So it just kind of like, it's a second, you know, barrier between not having anything exposed and like fully like, oh, I'm going to put this in rice and hopefully this doesn't fry out or isn't fried out versus like, hey, there's, you know, I think I'll be okay. It's not perfect, but I'm not worried about rain dropping on it or something.
Right.
So again, way off topic. So the progression that we're going to do is get used to this thing, and do some simulator stuff, fly in acro mode a little bit so you're not flying with the gyro, so you can freestyle fly more, and then progressing into a baby ape. So you showed me before the stream, you found a Darwin FPV baby ape kit.
Yeah, it was a 3-inch kit. A
3-inch kit, you know, and that came with like a Radio Master remote, which surprised me because that Radio Master is like one of my favorite things. I have a TX16S that's fully decked out, and like it has the metal gimbals and everything else.
Yeah,
and I love this controller. I even have an ELRS module. So ELRS is a protocol for the signal strength. You'll hear a lot about that stuff. ELRS is like the new stuff that's really, really good. The range on it is stupid long, and they have a lot of different versions and milliwatts and everything else. But this is the module that you put on the back of the controller for it. It broadcasts so hard, Seth, that you have to plug another battery into it if you want to. Otherwise, I've had it on with the controller, just the power through the controller, and it drains the battery in like 3 minutes on the controller.
Oh man!
So you put a separate module, a separate battery to it, which is really easy.
Right.
It has its fan and everything else, but it works so good. I only have 2 drones that are ELRS, and that's going to be the Pavo Pico, and then I have a Darwin FPV Johnny frame 5-inch. I have 2 of those, but one of them has ELRS on it as well. So that's the one that on my backup 5-inch is what I would, you know, end you with on, you know, kind of practicing until you got your own.
Right.
So it's a good setup. I ran one all last summer and the summer before for a cheap drone. They worked really good. I blew up a bell on a motor once. I hit a soccer post going like 100 miles an hour, and like it kept flying, but then it threw all the magnets out of it, and then it just was down. But I upgraded the motors to something a little bit more powerful. I don't remember exactly what I put in.
Gotcha.
So that baby ape was what, 300 and
like $340.
$340, dude. And like you're getting some, you know, lunchbox style goggles that aren't the best, but you're getting goggles, you know, nonetheless. And you're getting a TX. What remote is that? It's a Radio Master. Do you have it up on your?
Yeah.
It's an ELRS module. So and that's what I recommend, Seth, is that a lot of this stuff is going over to ELRS. And so getting a controller that binds to that would be smart, because like even this like little drone comes out in ELRS. Everything is coming out in ELRS now.
All
So
right.
once you get that controller, you're going to be able to bind to pretty much anything.
Bind everything and be used to one controller.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up with my RCs. It's just I put everything on my Spectrum controller because I just got so used to it.
Yeah, and you know, actually, dude, Radio Master just got into surface radios, and they make cross-compatible like 4-in-1 receivers built into those radios. So you can buy this controller, and it will bind to any protocol. Basically,
Oh, cool.
it will bind to your Traxxas, Spectrum, whatever you buy. Basically, for the most part, not 100%, but for the most part,
Right.
especially what I know that you own, it would bind to any of that.
Cool.
Yeah, and then they have ELRS. So like that's why a lot of people are kind of switching to this FPV car stuff. Is they're getting crazy range out of this stuff, and
Right.
now they can get range, good with HD, and then they get range with the controller, like for
Right.
days. So you see those videos of those guys driving inside of stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? No, some of those are fake. You got to watch that, because like sometimes they're just sitting in the parking lot.
Oh
But
yeah.
some of those guys have some good range, but it's cool. So, so if you decide to get that kit, it's pretty reasonably priced. I mean, you could sell an RC car and get that.
Well, yeah.
But try mine first. They run on 3 cells. I forgot what milliamp batteries I have for my. I have them in my bag here. Goodness. I think you can do 2-cell, 450 3-cells. So just little batteries like this. I mean, honestly, it's probably like $7 or $8, maybe even less. For
this
battery.
kit even comes with them, so it comes with 2 batteries, something like that.
Well, you get like with drones, they're not like cars. You get a lot less runtime with these batteries. So I would order. I can help you order some other batteries whenever you do it. Tattoo is what I like to do, but I can show you. There's a lot out there. I switched over to Beta FPV Larva batteries, or I'm sorry, not Lava batteries. These are pretty good, but these are 2 cells. But you only get like 3 minutes, of runtime out of a drone, especially if you're ripping around.
Right.
So I always have tons of batteries. And on top of that, like the amperage that we pull out of these batteries messes them up really fast. So like there's times if I'm doing a lot of flying, like I'll go through on my 5-inch drones, I'll go through 4 or 5 batteries in the summer, just puffing them out, because I take care of them. Like I storage charge them. I charge them at low amps, and it's just you abuse the hell out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And you're drawing 20 amps out of it, 20 plus more, 40 amps out of a 1.5 milliamp battery or 1.5 amp battery.
Like only 2 cars I have that abuse my batteries is my X-Max and then my Limitless that goes 125 miles per hour.
Oh, your Limitless does 100. Dude, we got to do a video and race the quad against that thing.
Yeah, we can do that.
Heck yeah. I'm going to have to use a 5-inch for it, though, because
I'm going to have to get a better controller for it because the range isn't good enough with Spectrum.
ELRS. I gave you that.
There we go.
I don't know if you saw the video of Rachel driving my HPI WR8.
I did.
The Subaru. And I was chasing her with that Pablo Pico. And I was in, self-level, so the gyro mode was on. But, like, there was times where she punched it, and the thing's running on 3S and everything. She punched it, and I'm like, oh, God, I can't even keep up with you. Like, I'm trying as hard as I can with this drone. I know this drone's pretty quick, but there's times I couldn't do it. But so I don't know. I think the 5-inch could keep up, though.
Probably.
I have the DJI FPV drone. It's that big honking drone that does really good video and everything. I don't take that out much. It's not even fun to fly it. You can't really abuse it too much.
Do much.
And if you crash it, like, forget about it. Like, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah, mainly another $200 for fixing.
Yeah, 260, I think, to fix it. I've never crashed it, but that's what I looked it up just because I was like, man, if this breaks, I don't even know how I'm going to work on it. And it's like, $250 to send it into DJI. But the main part that I got is I wanted to try HD, and then I got the HD goggles in that kit that I got for it. And normally goggles were like $600 at the time, and it was
Right.
$1,000 for the drone kit. And I was like, I'll just get this whole setup and try this.
Right.
And if I don't like it, at least I got the goggles. But that thing has GPS speed, and I've gotten it up to like 91 miles an hour flat, and then I've got it up to like 110 in a dive. And it's pretty quick, but like when you fly that and then you go to the 5-inch, it's like, oh man, the 5-inch feels like it has tenfold the power.
Well, yeah, it's because DJI has all their stuff governed because you have to like have the GPS on and all the time and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they govern it to some spec, but like it's pretty underpowered for the weight. I mean, it has power, but the thing weighs like 4 of the 5-inch drones. Like it's so heavy.
Wow.
It's so heavy, dude. I mean, look, it's running on a 4-cell battery. I think I have. Oh my god, I'm gonna mess up my lighting here, so don't. The kids are doing stuff over here. I learned that my office space is like a dungeon. I have no lights up here. As soon as I turned on the camera, I was like, oh my goodness, the battery's not even in there.
I don't even have my RC room anymore. So all my stuff got moved to the living room.
Really? All your cars?
Yeah.
How does the woman like that?
Yep.
Well, you saw whenever you come over this summer, you'll see my office is like Rachel's office as well, and I just crowd it with RC stuff like crazy. So this is the DJI FPV, right? So pretty big.
Right.
But the battery, I mean, this whole side, right? The battery goes in here. Look how big this effing battery is, dude. I swear it weighs like 3 pounds. Probably not really, but it's huge. I mean, this is
Wow.
And this is just a 4-cell milliamp, but because it has all the smart stuff in it and everything, like
It's got to have it's gonna have to have more hours.
Yeah, and like where is I have a normal. So this is a 5-inch 1500 4-cell. This is the freaking DJI one.
Wow.
It's ridiculous to me. And you get the same amount of runtime. You get a little bit more runtime out of this, but not a lot. And I think it's still like a 1500 milliamp battery or something. I can't read it right now with my terrible lighting. But I don't know. So I don't know. When I got the drone and I started flying it, I'm like, yeah, this is fun. But man, if I crash this thing, it's gonna suck. And then on top of it, it doesn't feel like a 5-inch. It doesn't, it bogs into corners really hard and slow, and it like drifts out of them. So like if you're trying to bank really hard, it slides back like a lot, like a mile. If you're pushing it hard, it's just ridiculous. So, but it made for some good videos. I went to Florida with it. It was the easiest one to travel with.
Right.
So, you take a 5-inch, you can travel with this stuff, but like you take a 5-inch that has all these wires and stuff like that, carbon fiber frame, and it's like, when you go through, what is it called, the TSA, they're gonna be like, oh, dude, what is this thing? It looks like a bomb itself.
Right. I mean, you almost need a carrying case for that, but they probably still see it straight through.
But I had a backpack for the DJI FPV, and it worked out really good.
How's the battery situation? Because I thought you couldn't fly with batteries.
You can't put them in your like stowaway. So like you can't do it underneath the plane. If you keep it with you, then it's safe.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So that way, if it does like explode, then you can at least have a chance of putting the fire out, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, everybody's phones and stuff like that, they all have lithium polymer batteries in it. And so like, they're not going to, everybody makes it sound like it's way more dangerous than what it is, but it still can happen.
They just combust easier.
Yeah.
It's because they're stacked on top of each other and they take a beating. So it's, I've blown a couple batteries.
Oh, and wait till you get into FPV, dude. Like, you'll blow up batteries. Just don't do it in your house. Be safe with them. I would like, you're probably safe with your car batteries and everything, but be safe with these drone batteries because they are like crap. They go bad fast. And I've had drone batteries catch on fire mid-flight on me. I actually had one 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. I was flying in the field that I always fly over by my apartment, and I was working out a tune on it. I don't know what. I still to this day don't know what I did, but it had to have been like a combination of like putting a too high of a tune on it,
Gotcha.
and just a tired battery. But I was punching over a tree, and it just like I didn't hit anything or anything. It just fell from the sky, and the video was gone. And then I take off my goggles, look in the field, and there's just smoke going all over the
everywhere.
place. And on top of this, Seth, the field that I fly in is also where the fire department is.
Oh,
Appleton Fire Department. And so
Yikes.
I'm just like freaking out, like, oh my God, these firefighters are going to come out of here and just start yelling at me because I'm catching their grass on fire.
I
Oh
did
my
try.
gosh. Oh, I mean, if I was going to start a fire this place, I'd have to do it, I guess. But oh my gosh,
I mean, hey,
it was
they're
so
right there.
embarrassing. Yeah. But that wasn't the first time I ever caught one on fire, too. I went to a drone race years back, and I forgot what it was, what like league it was. It was multi-GP, I think. And we were flying at the flying club over here in Macville Quarry,
Gotcha.
and we were just practicing, and I was flying through a gate, and this was back in old build, 5-inch quads, that independent ESCs that were mounted on the arm. They were like 15 amp, 20 amp ESCs, really low amperage. And I was going around a corner and punched to go through another gate. And when I punched, the video went gone. And I'm like, what the hell? And I did the same thing. I pulled off my goggles. This time, though, I had my headphones in. I was listening to music, so I didn't hear anything. When I pulled off my goggles and took off my earbuds, everybody on the sidelines were screaming, fire, fire. And I'm like, what? And I look up where my quad went down, and like the field is catching on fire and everything. So like 8 people go running out there and stomping it out. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And it turns out I popped an ESC that was on one of the arms because I put these upgraded motors on it, but I never upgraded the 15 amp ESCs. And I popped one of them. And when it popped, it shorted out wires, and shorted out the battery and the ground.
Right.
So I was done for the day. But it was a funny experience. I just remember like taking off my goggles and my earbuds and just hearing people scream fire. It's like, holy shit.
I mean, I have a similar situation with back on my first Limitless, because I have the V2 now. But my first Limitless, I was hanging out with a couple of friends. I'm like, I finally got this thing finished. Let's go take it out. I go take it out to this flat area where I am at. Yeah. And the second pass I come back, I lose all control of the vehicle. And then as soon as I get power back, like I hear it turn on, it just bursts into flames.
Oh no. Oh jeez. And car stuff is expensive too. Like it's
getting up there.
Dude, yeah, and you were saying, like, when you were telling me the drone stuff was expensive and everything, I'm like, I do both, but I really think that the drone stuff is less expensive once you get into it. Once you get into it, you get your controller, your goggles. That's the two, like, biggest expenses, but that it can kind of transfer to pretty much all your other equipment, your drones. And on top of that, it's like, yeah, you're going to break stuff on your drone and stuff like that. The parking pretty cheap. Props are stupid cheap. This is my tote. I have all my drone stuff around me, obviously. This is my tote of props.
Oh, I don't think you have enough.
There's so many in here, Seth, and honestly, I mean, there's different size ones in there for my other drones, but like for my 5-inch, that's what's mainly in there. I've gotten to the point where I just like mainly use one prop that I like, and so I don't even use those other ones half the time.
Right.
Unless I run out of my good ones that I like, but I don't know. It's just props are like 25 cents a piece.
Yeah, and then less. I'm sitting over here like with a Limitless. You start that thing on fire, you're buying a new car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
all plastic and everything.
$500 for a car,
dude. That's the thing is that like when that goes up, everything's toast.
Oh yeah.
My dad's infraction caught on fire. Remember that?
Yep.
And like everything was toasted. Toasted all the wires, even the wires for the servo. It's like, what am I salvaging from this? The transmission and the metal chassis. The rest of the electronics are all like burnt out. And like these drones, when I caught that drone on fire in the field, I literally soldered on different ESCs
Hmm.
and flew it again.
Hmm.
Like that was it. Obviously replaced the props because they were melted, but the carbon frame, was probably structurally damaged, but it didn't look like it was damaged. I still
Right.
used that. I probably flew that drone for another year like that.
Right.
And the ESCs were $30.
Yeah, and then you're sitting here with like cars and stuff. It's like $200 for an ESC, $300 for a motor, and like
Yeah.
right now in my X Max, the motor that's in it's $300, and the ESC is in it. It's also another $300. But to run it, I also had to modify it and get all this aftermarket parts to actually run that big motor in there. And now I got all these parts breaking left and right, so I just kind of put it on the shelf and it sits there.
Yeah, sell it and buy a baby ape kit.
I was thinking about it because
The
Mini Max is more reliable.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. You can still see my camera, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to share the screen because I don't know what I can legally share and not share.
Right.
Oh, Joshua Bardwell did a video on this. You should probably watch it. But I don't think the camera does DVR.
Okay.
Most lunchbox goggles don't. But if we're ever out recording together and you want to like lay down a DVR video with that, we can just bind my goggles to it and record it or something.
I was thinking, like, looking at this kit before, I'm like, it's not a bad price for as is. Like, I'd even get it without the goggles because I planned on just like, if I get into this, I'm gonna get it my own set of goggles.
Yeah, and dude, I wouldn't even. I would recommend you to Joshua Bardwell's Know It All FPV website for that because I don't even know what the new goggles are nowadays. There's so many out there. The technology on this drone stuff advances tenfold of what the RC cart stuff does.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's one of the reasons why like Hobbytown didn't really carry it is that by the time you got something in stock, it's like, oh yeah, there's new stuff out already.
Right. Which I understand why they didn't carry it. They just kept the little ready to fly FPV drones because those were easy to get on, and
Yeah,
they
and
stayed pretty much the same.
yeah. But so yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I guess like goggles remote, you're going to get a remote that's going to take you for a while. I have the TX16S that's a 4-in-1, and then with the ELRS is another, protocol.
Right.
But that controller will bind to like anything. I've never had a problem. I bound to Spectrum stuff and everything. And I think you can get a base model of that controller for like $260.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I've paid more.
Mm-hmm. And again, you're going to have it forever, for a long time at least.
Right. I mean, worst case scenario, Facebook Marketplace, because I saw a couple of them for sale on Facebook not too long ago. Like he was cleaning out his closet and he had like 3 controllers for sale. I can scroll real quick and see.
You got to be careful because there's so many different versions. So
right. Like I was gonna send it to you, but I was at work, so I didn't really have time. But
is your
I don't know
woman
how
yelling at you, or is she yelling at the cats?
No, I think that was my brother. Yeah, my brother moved in with us.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yep. Which is not a bad thing. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing.
No. Family's family.
Oh, yeah, always.
Rachel's at work right now, dude. Like, she got a job at Quick Trip. And, like,
free coffee.
She gets discounts and stuff like that, but I made her leave her other job because it was just stupid.
Right.
And, like, daycare was so expensive. She was going to make less money than what they were charging her for daycare, and I'm like, I'm paying you $200 to go to work, basically, a month, and I'm like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no.
So, but she's working at Quick Trip right now. She gets done at 10 o'clock.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, she just does 6 hours for 4 days a week, but what she makes in a week, I make in a day. It's like, well, she doesn't even have to work, but she just wants to.
Right. Yeah, I can't find this listing anymore. I bet you somebody bought them.
Yeah. Well, send me that stuff if you see it. I can send you stuff too, but used FPV, it's kind of iffy, dude, because it's
same
not
with
just,
RC.
Well, here's the thing: is RC, when you get used RC stuff, like you can visibly see, like, hey, this is dirty. This is the drone stuff is technology, and it's just like obviously you can look at this drone and it look perfectly fine, but not know that the board is fried out on it or
Right.
something, you know. And one of the things that I ran into, I bought an old drone from a guy last summer, and I bought it really cheap and everything. I was at I forgot where it was. It was some place local that they had like a FPV and RC airplane like market, you know,
Oh,
like one of
swap
those
meet.
swap meet. I'm sorry, yeah, swap meet. And the guy sold, you know, we talked about it and he sold it to me for like $60. I think I have one sec.
All right.
It's this thing. And he gave me a list of like what's in it and stuff like that. But dude, I don't even know what frame this is. Like, there's so much to it, and he has like a zip tied Spectrum receiver on the top of this thing, and like I flew it, it flies good, but the programming on it is super old beta FPV,
Gotcha.
and like you have to decipher this stuff. And if you buy this and you don't know what you're looking at to begin with, then it's like, dude, I can't even access this drone to get it to bind to my controller because I don't even know what software to use,
Right.
you know? And so, but I mean, you can work stuff out and figure that stuff out, but you have to know a little bit to do that and do a little digging.
Right. That's why I was looking like, we might as well just get a new one right away.
Just get a new one. Just get a new one. I mean, use my stuff and I'll sell you any drones that I have if you need be, but just get a new one.
Right.
If you're going to buy from someone else, even with controllers, there's so many different versions of controllers.
Right.
So
they come out with a new one every year.
Yeah, there's two main different versions of ELRS that don't even work together, 2.4 and like 1,000 or something like that. But yeah, so like you gotta watch what you're doing. So if you're ever, it's like, I mean, you build computers,
Yeah.
so like you can get stuff to work together, but you have to like kind of know that they're gonna work together.
You gotta look into it quite a bit. And
yeah, and like these flight controllers that they have that you do all the programming on, they're like a computer, you know, where you don't know. It'll power anything. So like it will, if you want to send a bunch of voltage to one motor, a bunch of amps to one motor, like it'll do it. It's not going to know if the motor's even there or if it can take the power, but it's going to do it.
Right.
So like if you have something programmed wrong, it's pretty catastrophic.
Right. Kind of luxury about RC. They have it done for you. Guessing that's why it's so expensive, though.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of programming.
No. Like none whatsoever. And if you like the programming you do get in, if you're like, for say doing high speed, you over program it, you're just frying it.
Yeah. So I guess like, you know, I guess what I would say is that I don't have a ton of knowledge on this stuff, but obviously I've been doing it for so long that I kind of know my way around and know enough to get in trouble. So whenever you buy something and if you're having troubles with it, reach out to me and I can help you.
Well, yeah.
Programming or whatnot. And if I don't know, then we'll watch some Joshua Bardwell videos and just figure it out, you know. So we'll get through it. But
we'll grow as we keep going.
Yeah, and like so that kind of leads into the towards the ending over here. We're coming up on kind of an hour. What our plan is basically in the long run is to have Seth release more videos. Rachel, I don't know if you know this, but Rachel does my video editing. I do video editing as well. Okay. But whenever you get video, what I would do is just send it to me.
Okay.
And we'll figure out how to do that, you know. And we'll have Rachel sit and edit the video. She's really good at synchronizing stuff. And like you can tell when I post a video versus when she posts a video. It's like she does pretty good. So
see, I'm okay at
hobby. It. Yeah. Yeah, like, and like I know enough to get around to, but it's just like I don't know.
I'd rather have somebody who's actually good at it do it.
Yeah. And especially when you're dealing with 4K video and everything, that starts to get hard, especially my old computer. Yeah. Like the thing sounds like it's going to explode when it does 4K video. It's like it takes 20 years to upload it, but it'll do it. So anyways, plan is to have you post videos on top of me posting videos. We'll do something to like maybe decipher who's who. Like, maybe we'll get you either if you want to do like your name, or you can do, you know, your a lot of FPV pilots make up their own name. I just did Blade Outlaws in general, but like we can put a T on the screen and an S on the screen when we switch video, whatever we come up with, whatever you think would be cool.
Yeah, we can figure that out as it comes to it.
Yeah, and like then in the summer, I would figure that we would meet up and go fly and do stuff like that. Do maybe a little bit of vlogging if that works out. I don't know. I'm not much of a vlogger.
We can give it a try.
Yeah, we'll see if people like that. But obviously, no one's watching it. But I feel like it's also super late. But this will upload and save on YouTube too.
Right.
So, anyways, I guess like, do you have any ideas? Do you have anything that you want to do? Like goals, aspirations?
I just want to, at least at the beginning here, I just want to get the start to be able to do something.
Yeah,
with
and
the drones.
Yeah, and I think that what would be cool to capture is like your progress through this. It's like,
right.
This is Seth, 1 week into flying, and then it's Seth, 3 months into flying, and just show that like, holy crap, like you're gonna progress no matter what. You might not feel like it. I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible pilot, and then I started, it got to the point where I got so comfortable that like flying anywhere and through anything has been pretty. Like, I don't think about it. I just do it.
Right.
But we'll see that progress as it, and then like by summertime we'll be freestyling at a park or something,
Right.
And it'll be fun. So
hopefully by then.
Yeah, and again, if you get that kit, sometime I'm not putting pressure on you to get anything, just to see if you even want to keep doing this. But if you get that kit, then I have that ELRS, 5-inch drone that we can bind it up to, and that's analog. So then all we needed, I just had to buy new 4 cell packs this summer. I messed up a bunch of them, so I only have like 2 left. So I need to go spend like a couple $100 and get a bunch of batteries.
Right.
But we'll do that. I have a GoPro. We'll mount the GoPro to it. Flying with a GoPro and without a GoPro is pretty like different. Yeah, like you get used to the drone a certain way for a while. And it's like, oh, I should record this, and throw the GoPro on. It's like, oh,
right.
It was like crap. So that's another advantage of HD built in, stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. You have to make that toss up later on. I don't have any 5-inch that's HD yet. I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna end up doing it just to see.
I'd give both a try. Just see what I like better. Yeah,
I guarantee you'll like HD, and you're gonna use it for like a month if you switch to it. But then you're gonna have some spots where it's like, oh, shoot, this sucks. So there's a latency in HD too.
Gotcha.
So that kind of messes you up when you're freestyle flying and stuff. But so, posting more content, making some DVR videos at the start, because all the drones that you're going to be flying are too small to put a camera on for the most part for a little bit here. And just kind of doing some progress videos. We can even make a playlist. It's like Seth's progress flights.
We could do that.
Whatever you think. So we'll figure out how to record that stuff. I have a second screen that I was doing those RC car chase videos in that dirt track. I don't know if you saw that video I posted. And I had a screen set up that was, all set up for the guys that were racing to watch me fly around live, and I forgot the screen there, and that's like my backup goggles. It's just like a little screen Emax thing, that detaches from the goggles. And that has direct video recording. So like if you ever need to borrow it, then you just use that screen, plug in the chip, and record on that. But then you can put on your lunchbox goggles and, fly that way. So either way.
All right.
But alrighty. Well, I guess on that, is there anything else you want to add? I guess that's kind of all the questions I got. And I think that is going to be fun having you aboard. I think it's going to be fun flying together. It's one of the things that in Wisconsin I haven't really met a lot of other drone pilots.
Right. And the RC community here is kind of just dying off. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Either they're all going racing or they're just getting sick of fixing them because it's so expensive.
It's expensive and times are rough always, but it's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know.
Always got to have a hobby, though.
Always gotta have a hobby, you know. And like, I don't want to be some gaming dude that all I do is game my whole life. Dude, I'm not making fun of you. I game. Okay, I was playing Battlefield 2042 yesterday, and it's like
Oh, you
it's
got to
fun.
play with it. You got to play that with me.
Yeah, well, I have it on PS4.
It's
I'm
crossplay.
yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy a PS5. I've already determined that I'm gonna probably buy one this year. The PS4, like when you play that game, it's pretty bad. Like it
I know.
bogs that PS4 down. But it's fun, you know. And here in Wisconsin, it's like, what else are you gonna do? I can fly tiny whoops all the time, but
Right.
sometimes I give that a break.
Like even driving RCs in the snow is getting old because I'm sick of cleaning them.
Yep. Now you don't really have to clean drones. I mean, you have to wipe them off when you eat grass or if you land in the dirt or whatever. But
Well, yeah.
blow them out once in a while. But other than that, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's good to have hobbies. It's fun, and
Oh,
flying is like a cool thing, cool experience. It puts you in that cockpit, you know, without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars being an actual pilot.
Right. Maybe it'll get me over my fear of heights.
Yeah, it probably will. I didn't. I used to have fear of heights when I was young, and I don't anymore. I had to nix that in the butt when I was a firefighter right away.
Right.
So, but you'll get motion sickness a little bit when you do this if you do it for a long time. Especially when I did it in HT, I got a little bit more motion sickness, and then I added the fact of like sitting in a moving car, while you're chasing it, is like the most nauseating thing ever. I've done VR, you know, Oculus VR stuff before and everything, but like when you're flying a drone and you're chasing a car and the car's whipping around a little bit and you're going like this, it's like, oh my god, like it's just too much stimulation, and you're trying not to freaking long dart at the side of the car going 100 miles an hour. It's like,
Right.
so I've done all that stuff, and I just was like, nope, I'm not doing this. Pull. I have enough rage. Just pull over, and I'm just gonna chase you.
I mean, I don't blame you there, but
Yeah, but anyways, we'll do all that fun stuff, dude. You could do a trace video of driving my Subaru, or like when I'm driving the Subaru. I always wanted someone to do that
we could do that.
when I'm at the racetrack.
Don't you need a license for that though?
No, we could probably do it in a controlled environment. So
I was saying like Road America.
no, we wouldn't do it on the big track. Road America has a pretty strict policy about that. But like, if I do like an autocross, they'll let you probably do it.
Okay.
Because we're going to do it in a parking lot or something else, you know. They do
Right.
autocrosses at Road America, but Road America is super no-fly zone,
Gotcha.
so we wouldn't be able to do it there. But we could do it, and I mean, we can always go to a private road and do it too.
Right.
But I did that with my mom's Porsche, and it was fun.
Yep. You showed me that video.
Did I ever show you the video of when I hit my dad's $120,000 Lotus?
Nope.
Nope. So that's really quick. We'll end the stream on this. So 3 years ago, we were doing a video on my dad's Lotus. Maybe probably was more than 3. It's probably like 4 years ago. We were doing a video on his Lotus, and this was when it was all chrome red.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some cool shots of me diving out on it. We were using a 5-inch GoPro, and I had Spectrum receivers. Just keep that in mind, and like really bad video transmitters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was chasing him around, and we did this thing where he was at one end of the road, and I was hovering in front of him. And I don't know, I was standing down the street, and I was pretty far away, and I don't know what the hell like he was thinking exactly, but I was hovering there, and my video was getting weird. So I was turning my body to get the patch antenna to like connect better.
Right.
And as I was like focusing on that, because I was talking to him on the phone at the same time through headphones and everything. And I was like, okay, what we're going to do is have you punch it, and I'm going to do a flip over you when we do that. And when we were talking about that, he just fucking punches it. I'm sitting here trying to turn, and I'm just hovering in one spot. And he just like is thinking that I'm going to move last second, but I don't move. I'm just sitting there hovering it. And he just takes me out with his front bumper, going like 6 miles an hour. I'm like, oh my gosh, like really bad. and my GoPro's, flying, like drone's flying. I go running down there. He actually comes and picks me up. We go back where the drone is, and I'm looking at his bumper, and like there's just a scratch on the freaking vinyl. Like it cut into one of the props cut into the paint just a little bit. But it was a plastic bumper luckily it didn't hit the fiberglass body.
Right.
It was a plastic bumper, so it didn't do any damage to the bumper besides cutting the paint a little bit through the vinyl and then just scratching the vinyl along. It's like, that was so lucky. And he was like, dude, is your drone okay? He didn't even go out and look at his car. He was asking if my drone was okay and if the GoPro was okay. I'm like, dude, you just hit my drone. And you're worried about my stupid drone? Like, let's look at the car. Let's make sure the car's okay. But no, he was so laid back about it. And then he was like, I thought you were gonna punch it. And I was like, no, I was having video issues. Like I wasn't ready. I didn't say go. So it was funny. It was a good time. Drone just had a bent prop and the GoPro was good. Still use that GoPro.
That's
funny.
not bad.
Yeah, but I decided never to post that video because we didn't have enough video to really post.
Gotcha.
I posted a video of it on my Instagram of it, the crash. But I took it off because I was afraid that someone was going to get mad about flying. Like it was going to report me to the FAA. It's like, oh, your car hit a drone and
right.
This big thing, but it wasn't. It was all controlled.
Right. But
yeah, it was silly. So hit a $120,000 car going like 60 miles an hour with my drone.
I mean, hey, at least he wasn't mad.
No, in a controlled environment, and it was my dad. So
right.
It's the best possible case.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think I'll ever fly around people I don't know.
Yeah, you shouldn't really fly around people at all. I mean, you got tiny whoops like this thing. I fly around the kids and everything like that. It's like it's not gonna really do a whole lot. I did hit Archer once, and like he was just going around the couch over here, and like I popped him in the nose, and it like barely hit him, and it just like put a little cut on his nose. And he like was walking around like not even dazed in it, but I don't know. So, but that's these ones too. Like if that was the older, low flying, low RPM brush motor, like that probably would not even cut him.
Right.
But, so, I mean, you can do that kind of stuff, but when you're flying a 5-inch,
yeah, no.
like keep it away from people, keep it away from cars, keep it away from drains. Basically.
That's a big danger. Like,
yeah.
I've seen some of those crashes, and oh my, that's scary.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic, man. But you just got to be safe with it. There's just people doing stupid stuff.
Right.
And anytime I fly, I got spotters and stuff like that. I got Rachel watching my shoulder, watching the drone. So
right.
We do that best we can. So, but we'll go through that stuff. We'll go. I have flight insurance, like AMA flight insurance and everything. I'll teach you that stuff. You don't necessarily have to have it if you're going to be flying small stuff all the time.
Right.
This Sunday, Hobbytown in Green Bay is holding an indoor flying event, and they're going to do planes and drones together. Okay. So I'm gonna go to it. It's $5. I don't know. I'll have to send it to you on Facebook. But it's like $5 to go fly with them. And I thought, if anything, I would go chase some planes around with the drone. I was like, oh man, I've never done that. I did that once. Right. But it's been years, and I never had video of it. It's like, oh, I can do that with the Pablo Pico and do some cool HD 4K videos of chasing some microplanes flying around. But if you want to go, you'll have the drone.
I'll have to see because it's gonna sound like a nerd. I got D&D night Saturday. So.
That's all right. I'm not judging.
Yeah, we're up until like 3 a.m. So.
Well, they'll probably end up doing this a couple times before the summer. This is the first time I've seen them do it, but I bet you that they'll probably do it again. So if anything, you and I can go down there if you want to, if we set it up more in advanced,
Right.
Tomorrow I should be around. We're going to go to Dirt Heaven, and do some HD 4K video chasing some buggies around again, but again in HD this time instead of with this thing.
Right.
And we're going to pick up that screen that I left down there. And we'll be back probably by like 4 o'clock. So I think we're going to actually be back before you.
Oh, so you're going to go at like noon.
Yeah, we're gonna go at like 1 or noon and go down there for an hour or so, and then come back.
Okay.
So that works out. So we can be down here for you to pick up everything, and we can decide at that time if you want to take the Emax goggles that have DVR recording on it, or take the ones with it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll come up a little bit early since I have that dinner at 7:15. So
yeah, cool. So
All right.
well, that's it, man. Thanks for doing the live thing. If this blows up, obviously it's not blowing up because we're doing it late at night. But if it blows up later on and it's something that people want to see, we can maybe do more live videos and
we could do that.
FPV podcast just talking about RC cars and drones and Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey.
We can't talk about that because I don't know anything about it. Just that those people literally don't shower. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I got to be careful. There's gonna be YouTube people yelling at me in the comments. But alrighty, well, that sounds good.